All right, spring is coming and I hope you are ready. Last week we took our first camping trip of the season, and if you didn't watch that video, make sure you go back and watch it. I'll put a link in the description. A lot of fun. We went kind of snowy rooftop tent camping at Shawnee State Park, hiked some trails, cooked outdoors. It was beautiful. But because I know camping season is coming, I'm kind of in accelerated overdrive looking for solutions to problems, or maybe answers to questions that I have. And one of those questions is, what are we going to be cooking with at the campsite this year? Because there are so many different options, and I have some things in front of me that I want to test out before I make my decision. And some really exciting news. We have two really cool partners coming up, videos you don't want to miss. First, we've got Runaway Campers coming back for another season. So we're going to return the Venturist XS, and we are going to pick up a new model from Runaway to take on some trips, to show you all the cool features of. They've been a great partner with us almost since the beginning of the channel, and I think that their campers are a really great option, so stay tuned for that. But we are also going to be building our very own teardrop camper. That's right, from scratch, from a trailer bed to a finished camper, thanks to the folks at Wander Tiers. They're this great company out of North Carolina that makes DIY teardrop camper kits that you can buy. They're already pre-cut and finished. We're gonna be doing that right here on the channel. And so one of the things I need to figure out is, what are we going to be cooking with in these campers as we take our trips? So inside this bag is a complete camp cooking system. It's the Nomad cooking system from Stoke Voltaics. And last year I tested out their Joule boiler pot. And what makes these different is they might look like a Jetboil or some other brand that works on butane or propane, but they're not. They're 100% electric, negating the need for you to bring an extra fuel source with you. For instance, I often, pretty much every time I go camping, take one of these. It's a power bank. This one in particular has 1200 watts of power. It lasts for a long time. If I'm just doing small little things like, lights and devices and maybe some cooking systems, this will last me on a 2, 3, even 4-day trip. And if I have one of these with me, I can use these items to prepare my food more quickly and, honestly, in some cases, more easily. So let's go ahead and open up the Nomad cooking system here in the shop so I can do some testing, plug it in, show you how it works, and get out that thermal imager to show you where the heat is and just how quickly it heats up. That's one of the things I'm most impressed with. So pulling things out, you'll see that there are a lot of items that go to both of the canisters or pots that they have. You have both a lid with a little bit of a strainer there and a handle that, to me, this handle is like the coolest thing about this. It fits both pots, so it's removable. So inside, I'm not talking about it. I just go ahead and pull it out. You get an electrical cable that goes to the base. Obviously, you have a lid. You have a handle. You have a shallow, probably 2.5, 3-inch shallow, what I'm gonna call the griddle, because while it looks like a pot, most of that thickness is the heating coil inside of here. And you do have some griddle marks in there, some kind of like, some grids like you would see on a grill. And then you have a larger boiler pot. You can kind of see the size difference in these. The boiler pot is probably 4 to 5 inches deep. You can only fill it with 2 or 3 inches of water, but because of the size here, you can put a lot of water in there, boil it. This is great for ready meals. You can boil and add in there and actually eat out of this if you want to. It does have a small drain lip on the edge. And the cool thing is you can attach this handle to either one of these canisters. So there's a lock right here. You just flip this over to the edge, press this button, and your little mouth or your jaws open up. And you can, with one hand, attach this to the side of a bowl or a pot, and you've got a handle. I mean, this is cool. I can set this down, one-hand it, press my button, comes undone, put this down, clip it on the next pan, and we've got another handle. So, I mean, it's like a pot grabber, but it's more than that. I just love that action. There, twist it to the side, press the button, it jumps out. You can stick it on these pots. So that's probably my favorite part about this, is they don't waste space by putting handles on these canisters. They give you a handle that will go on either one at a moment's notice. And then the one thing that makes this all possible is the cooking unit down here on the bottom. I'm gonna set the bag around. This is the cooking system that has this little coil right here in the middle that fits into the coil on the bottom of both of these pots. So what I'm gonna do is jump behind the camera now. We're gonna focus in on this power unit. We will plug it in. I will use the thermal imager and show you how quickly these things heat up. And then I'll prove to you that they're cool enough on the bottom to sit down on your wooden tabletop to touch. And then when we're done with all that, we're gonna test this out, cook some food in it, see if it really is a good user experience and something that might be worth trying out. Okay, so we are all set up for this test. We have our power bank. We have the cooking unit here, which I have gone ahead and pulled the plug on. There is a weather strip on this, so you can stick this back in when it's not in use. Nothing's gonna get down in there. This simply plugs in to the back right here. And it's a high gauge extension cord. You would stick this right here in your outlet, and we will turn it on in just a minute. I've chosen to use the griddle top, is what I'm gonna call it, this griddle top, because it's a little shallower and easier for me to show you with the heat gun. We have a thermal heat gun that will tell us the temperature on the surface here. So when we shoot it, you'll see right now it's sitting at 62 degrees. Right where that laser is. And then we have a thermal imager, which I'll use to also show you the difference in the heat dissipation and the heat disbursement around the unit. So I'm gonna go ahead, set these off to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on our power bank here. And we'll also be able to see how many watts we're pulling on the power bank, even though it tells us right on the front. This little button here is also a tiny little LCD or LED screen. I'm gonna turn on this section of my power bank. There we go. And I should be able to hit this button now. There we go. You see it's starting up. It says Stoke Voltaics. Press it again, and it says placing cookware. So it wants you to place the cookware on there. And again, it's this coil, see that coil? Placing into the bottom of this burner, which it's hard to even call it a burner. When they are connected, now I won't do this for long because it could be dangerous. You see you have different levels starting out at 200 watts, and you can go all the way up to 400, 600, and 800, and 1,000 is your high. We will turn it on 1,000 and leave it there just so we can test out the heat. And it tells us how long, it's been running for 23, 25 seconds now. Tells us how long it's been going. So we can kind of see, and I can already tell you I'm starting to get some heat. So before we were at 63, now we're already within 30 seconds, we're at 100, 140 degrees, and we're climbing. This is gonna reach on high. From my test, it's gonna reach over 400 degrees, so about 425 is probably the constant on this, but just to show you how quickly this will heat up. And so we have it on the 1,000 watt setting. My power bank here says we're pulling 951 watts, so a little under the 1,000 watts that it says. But as you see, we are continuing to heat up quickly. We're already at 230, 240. It's climbing really quickly. 270s. And again, we're only 90 seconds in. That's the interesting thing about this system, is it heats up so quickly. I mean, right there, my hand is already hot. Yeah, we're in the 290, over 300 now, 315, just under 2 minutes. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn my thermal imager on so you can get another look at it. It's not as accurate on temperature. You can see a lot of heat kind of around the center, but there's almost no heat around the edges of this. Like this is cool to the touch down here. I can touch this, I can feel the heat coming off the edges, and I can see it on the thermal, but it's only in the pot. It's like down here, once I get past the bottom of this, there's no more heat. That's where the heat ends right there. This is completely cool. We're sitting on a wooden table here. We're up at like 430, 435, and that's the max it's gonna get inside 3 minutes. That was 2.5 minutes, and it has probably been there for a few minutes. We're getting almost 450 degrees of heat in there. So it's really impressive what you can do. And now this is ready, you know, within 3 minutes, we're ready for something to cook on. We've got, you know, our, we could put a burger in there, we could put steak in there, but here's the impressive part. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this, and I'm gonna take this out, and I'm gonna prove to you, you can stick your hand right there. Gosh, it almost makes me nervous to do it. My hand is right here. And look at that. The temperature on this is 86 degrees. Flip it over to the inside, the temperature is still almost 400 degrees. Now, here's the crazy part. So we can set this down. We can set this down. This is also not hot. My hand is right on top of this. I mean, again, 80 degrees, 75 degrees. This is not hot. This was just cooking. This whole thing, I can pick it up. It's crazy to me. Hold it again, I'll turn it off here. It does have a safety function. If this is disconnected for 60 seconds, this will automatically turn off. But I'm just impressed. I can feel the heat. I can feel the heat. That would burn me if I touched it right there, but there, no. This whole thing, this whole area here is protected from the heat somehow. And right there is about where it starts. I don't want to touch that. And I mean, now, yes, this is ambiently starting to heat up a little bit, but it's just warm. It's not hot. It's 98 degrees. It's just warm. And the reason this is also interesting is because most of us take portable power with us now, and this saves a lot of time, energy, and headache with other fuel sources if you already have power with you. Let's do a camp cooking demo of the Stoke Voltaics Nomad cooking system. So I have the base plate here, run back to a power bank underneath the table, and I have the griddle pan, which I think is the best for cooking meat. I have the handle connected to it, and I have some deer loin ready to go, along with some seasoning and oil and some utensils here. So I've already got a confirmation light right here. It says Stoke Voltaics, just letting me know that, hey, this is on, we're ready to go. Now I have to place the pan on here first, and this coil is gonna make contact with the burner itself, and then we'll be able to turn this on. Now I'm gonna have to come around to the front to turn this on. And there we go, you can see it is on all the way on high, pulling 1,000 watts. So we're ready to cook. I'm gonna throw some oil in this pan. This is avocado oil. And hey, do me a favor, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you're cooking with, because I want to test out a lot of different options, and a lot of you have great ideas that you've yet to share, so drop me a comment. We'll go ahead and get everything even and laid out. And I can tell you, that already smells fantastic. Gonna try not to mess with this much. I just want it to do its thing and evenly cook on one side, then we'll flip it over. All right, now I don't want to burn these, so I'm going to go ahead and flip just to see. Yeah, they look okay. Not close to being burnt. What I'm curious about is, what will we get out of this as far as a char goes? See, we've got a nice char on these in the back. Little bit more seasoning. Seems like these ones in the back are getting a little bit more char. So I'm going to try to shuffle these around a bit. Smells incredible. Yeah, so I mean, it seems like we're getting a little bit more heat back in this area. When I put the meat back here, it browns much more quickly. Yeah, and this front, maybe a little less, but it's got the heat, it's got the power to cook a steak. And we had this thing cooking in less than 2 minutes. We went from completely cold to a hot pan cooking within 2 minutes. Just gonna cut into one and test here. Oh yeah, definitely done. And here's the coolest part. When I pull this off, we're completely done. It shuts off and I can load these onto my plate. And not only that, but the bottom is completely cool. I can set it down on the table instantly, no problem. And here's the end result. We've got 6 tiny little medallions of deer loin ready to eat. So let's dig in and see how they taste. And of course, I'm not a heathen, I'm a good carnivore. I let them rest for 5 minutes, and now we're gonna cut into one of these bad boys and try it out. Just really simple ingredients. Okay, I overdid them a little. This is medium well, cooked all the way through. More than I would like, but that's still pretty juicy. Even though I overcooked them, it's not dry. I'm just shocked that we could cook that well on something that's not an open flame. I think what I was worried about was possibly, how well that was cooking through based on it being electric alone. But if this taught me anything, it's that it's cooking quicker than I thought it would. I mean, maybe it was a little harder to get a crust because we didn't have an open flame, but certainly had the heat to cook through quickly. And the best part is, it's kind of a windy day today, and because there's no flame, we had no wind issues. So that is kind of a plus for electric cooking, is that you don't have to worry about wind or condition. It's gonna work, and then obviously it's safe as soon as you're done to set your pan down. A really cool concept. Yeah, this is good. This is definitely good. All right, you don't need to watch me eat all this, but I'm going to. And an important part of campsite cooking is how well do these things clean up. You can see it is non-stick cookware. We've cooled down, I've let it cool, and I've got just kind of a wet wipe. This is kind of how I start off things sometimes at the site, just getting the big chunks out of there, and then I can finish it off with a scrubber and some water. But yeah, I mean, it is non-stick. It does come out decently, throwing some of the bigger chunks out of there, but you can see just a little bit of a wipe. Yeah, and these chunks here are not, oh, that just came off out of the corner there. All right, well, that's not perfect, but it's not bad. And look at how well that completely cleaned up there, the nonstick material doing its job. Just a wet wipe, a good place to start, and then you can wash it off with soap and water. But yeah, cleanup is pretty easy with this thing. Well, hey, thanks for joining me for today's video. This is a lot of fun testing out gear with you. I'm so glad that you're here and a part of this channel. Please, 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 if you're not already, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Let me know that you're here. I want to know. And if you have questions or comments, leave them down there for me. I read and respond to almost every one of those. So as always, my name is Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit, and I will see you in the next video.